Since the dawn of gaming, technology has thoroughly and impressively stunned humans with its unyielding source of entertainment. However, there tells a tale of a rivalry that's been known to tear apart the best of friends, a rivalry that rages on to this day, a rivalry that will probably always go on even past the two's respective lifetimes.
Hey Ted, let's play some Battlefield.
What about cut my drive? My duty!
I think it was just after Modern Warfare 3 was announced that I heard of this war. At the time, the only Battlefield game that I had the pleasure of playing was Bad Company 2. It ruled, but as I learned more about how divided gamers were concerning the record-breaking game giant and the critically lauded Swedish powerhouse, note, Battlefield play for free kinda sucks. I questioned my view as a gamer as to which was truly better. I shrugged it off, bought both, and had fun either way. 2 games later, after Medal of Honor Warfighter and Black Ops 2. Dear God, no. And here we are again with Call of Duty Ghosts and Battlefield 4. The stakes are higher now with new consoles coming in, as well as the ever-growing flames of what I like to call Battle Duty 2, Battle Duty Harder. I'm a genius. Son of a bitch. So, with all things considered, I've taken it upon myself to tear these two apart to figure out the answer. And with that, let's dive in. Not surprisingly, I find that the main selling point for these games is the multiplayer, and not the whole game in itself. Yeah, sometimes Call of Duty will mention zombies, or survival, or some new jackass bad guy, and sometimes Battlefield will, talk about this thing right here. But the point I'm trying to make is that both series have a strong focus on innovation in online playability. These 2 installments are good examples of that, as it seems both companies have 2 years of work on their respective titles. So what's innovative this time? Well, in comparing these games to their predecessors, in all honesty, both don't look all in all too innovative. Ah! Oh, holy shit! Stop, please. Stop. Holy shit. Wait a minute. Wait. Let me make my case. Here is a quick list of new features introduced to the series formulas. Call of Duty. Selective destruction. Female players. Visual customization. Knifing animations. Leaning, sliding. No tunnel vision in sniper zoom. Atomic leveling of the maps. Squad-based gameplay. This thing. Battlefield. Levolution. Commander mode returns. Diving. Dynamic weather. And that's about it. When put together, Call of Duty seems to have many minor variations to the formula, while Battlefield has just a few major variations. But all in all, these innovations don't seem to fully change the formula that is Call of Duty and Battlefield. And that's just it. The reason these games succeed is because of the gameplay. So, without entirely changing how the game is played, both sides have managed to improve upon their established heritage. That's why I don't understand trolls. Battlefield trolls seem to go on and on about how Call of Duty is always the same, but from looking at Battlefield 4, there honestly doesn't seem to be that much of a difference from the previous installment. I mean, it's there, and I see it. But if you had never played a Battlefield game in your life, you probably wouldn't see that much change. Just look at this footage. That isn't even close to what I had put together. As well, Call of Duty doesn't seem that much different either. For the most part, it is the same experience for the literal 10th time. But that's the point. These companies aren't going to drastically change their series anytime soon. Why? Because it sells. It gets good reviews. It isn't a case of it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's about the money and about keeping the fans from saying. So let's do a farther comparison. Let's look at Call of Duty Ghosts, the Call of Duty 4. That's a much bigger change than I expected. Now what about Battlefield? Let's go with Battlefield 4 to Battlefield Bad Company 1. There's a big aesthetic change from there as well, but the point still stands, the gameplay is the same. For Call of Duty, it's smaller maps, 12 players, faster action, kill streaks galore with the occasional zombies. For Battlefield, it's giant maps, 64 players, vehicles, squad-based warfare, and boom goes the dynamite. Going back to innovation, however, I don't understand why these two are regarded as the leading innovators of modern military gaming. Their formulas are driven off of other games. That's not to say that they're not executed remarkably, though. The first Call of Duty is pretty similar to the World War II era Medal of Honor games. It just provided more fluid controls and a larger emphasis on teammates in large-scale battles.
What the fuck was that?
Hell, the guys that made Call of Duty are the ones that made Allied Assault, and the upcoming Titanfall, which I am looking forward to. And on the other hand, Battlefield 1942 partially gained its formula from a little-known game called Codename Eagle. It's all pretty much there, actually. Vehicles, parachutes, destruction. 1942, however, had a stronger and more effective emphasis on multiplayer, and honestly, it's still pretty good to this day. So what have we learned from this? Pretty much nothing. It seems that both series are constantly trying to one-up each other by ripping off each other's ideas and expanding on them. Now, I know the second Riot is just waiting to get their hands on me, but hear me out. I'm a reasonable man. Sort of. Levolution is a huge prospect for the Battlefield series, but to me it reminds me of Black Ops 1. Remember that map where the space shuttle leaves halfway through? It's a small dynamic variation to the map, but a variation nonetheless. These little events are more apparent in Black Ops 2, like in Hydro with the running waters, or in Express with the trains. That's a little like Levolution. DICE just managed to make it badass.
Boat, bitch. Eat boats!
Call of Duty is heavily influenced by the Battlefield games too, however. With Ghosts, they're introducing destruction. As well, Black Ops 2's attachments seem to be inspired partly by Battlefield 3. For example, you now have laser sights, long barrel attachments, and shotguns that shoot 12-gauge slugs. See where I'm getting at? You can compare and contrast similarities between the series all day, but in the end, it doesn't matter. It's almost like saying, these series have ripped off Doom because you shoot things. While it's true that at times the series seem to have played off of each other's ideas, the truth behind the matter is thus, it's a game, they're listening to the fans that complain. You have nobody to blame but these jackasses. I know that it sounds like I'm bashing these series concepts, but to their credit, innovation in this genre is incredibly hard to fathom. I somewhat agree with Egoraptor when he stated that shooters are pretty much the same.
I'm sick of shooting things, like seriously.
There is some innovation in established series though. One of my favorites, for example, is the BioShock series. Sure, the series can be summed up as this: explore a city that's been misplaced, shoot with gun, and use superpowers. But I find that behind that, these games bring about very important questions and interesting debates about free will, courage, destiny, integrity, human nature, and the importance of religion and politics. And I find their way of integrating these questions in the gameplay very innovative and ingenious. I mean, I could be wrong, and I'm just not seeing Battlefield and Call of Duty's true intelligence, but all I see is two series trying to please their audience entertainment capita while in search of the almighty dollar. Hell, at least they're trying to please. Unlike some series. Oh, shut up! You had your chance, Resident Evil, but you blew it! But with these moral and ethical issues explored, what about the game's technical qualities? Well, it's simple.
Yeah, get him. Whoa.
Jesus Christ. Frostbite 3 is amazing. I mean, look at this shit. It looks great. It looks better than great. It looks almost so good that it looks like shit again. Now, on the other side, Call of Duty once looked awesome, and even with the recent upgrade featuring the new sub-deep technology, they're still just a tad bit outdated. I mean, they don't look terrible, but outdated. Which I guess just sums up most of the tech in Call of Duty. They've fallen behind. I feel like they mostly reuse animations and meshes. It's a little distracting at times. But there's one thing I wish Call of Duty was really better at. Sound. Nothing beats the crack of a bullet in Battlefield. It just sounds amazing. I especially love the sounds of warfare from far away. Fucking beautiful. So in that regard, both merits go to Battlefield. Audio and visually, it's just better. I'm a little old school about things though. For example, my favorite game is GoldenEye, followed by System Shock 2 and Superman 60. Shit! What I'm trying to say is, to me, these aren't too important. These are just pluses accompanied by their gameplay. Just like how I can't judge the series by their publishers. EA is a slave driver and Activision is a farmer. Doesn't matter though, all they did was send the game my way.
I love video games. What are you talking about? I ain't talking like that. Go, video games.
Now, generally speaking, these games are multiplayer based. That means I gotta fucking talk to people. I hate that. Which makes me wonder, which community is better? Now I honestly gotta say, this is a huge part of evaluation for me. This could tip the odds. Call of Duty is notorious for its collection of mic-blaring children and tryhards. Screamers, quickscopers, campers, drop shots, it's all there.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Now, generally that's considered a bad thing, but to me I find it an advantage. Seriously, I do. There's a mute button right here, and I'm pretty skilled at the game, so jackasses like these aren't really a problem for me. Honestly, how hard can a child truly be at this game, folks? Not hard at all. Whoop some ass and have a Coke and a smile. So as I drink my daily shot of vodka, I've suddenly realized that when you're good at a game, you instantly like it more. I remember the first match of Call of Duty I played with my buddies Ed and Ted. It was the first time I had played any Call of Duty game, and the boys were veterans. I destroyed. So, long story short, it's pretty clear that some gamers are just naturally good at Call of Duty, whereas some need practice to gain more skill. Which is honestly a little short in the series. I only say that because the most important virtue to have when playing this game is a good reflex time. Any skill needed comes in running routes tactically, shooting accurately, and tricking your opponents. It ain't that much. How about Battlefield? Well, seeing how these games are meant to be played with higher interaction from teammates for reliance and support, I would naturally give them this point, but that's not always the case. I won't disagree that the more tactically sound players can probably be found in Battlefield, but in a game like this, I feel as if skill can be diminished by simply having a bad team. How many times have you come into a game where your teammates are aimlessly blowing up walls to see destruction? But I've noticed that even with a bad team in Call of Duty, you can still play very good. For example, look at this.
UAV inbound. Care package on standby. Confirm.
I played like this all game, and my team still lost. And understandably, even with as good a game as that, the losses can get a little annoying at times. In Battlefield, however, that's not usually the case. It's a team effort, and it requires everybody to be on their game. It really is honest teamwork. If they do bad, you do bad. So naturally, I want to give it to them. But I can't help think that I'm missing something. Yeah, Yeah, for a smart game like this, I've always been surprised by the amount of people that go around calling out shit that Call of Duty does. It can be about the smallest thing, even things that are unrelated to gaming.
Hey, there's a dog playing in those leaves. You know there's a dog in that new Call of Duty. Hey, fuck that game.
For a game as smart as Battlefield, the fan base has absolutely, without a doubt, the most trolls I've ever seen for anything. Duke Forever came out, nobody likes it.
Yeah, ain't beating Battlefield.
Hey, Spider-Man 3 sucks.
Whatever, man, Battlefield.
It reminds me of this forum where people were saying the same thing about Zelda and Mario. Zelda and Mario. Fucking hipsters. Which brings me to my final point. Are they right? Is Battlefield better than Call of Duty? Or is it the other way around? Which one is a better experience? Who truly holds the crown for military shooters? Why is my ass itchy? Well, the answer is... they're two completely different games, people. It's apples to oranges. When it comes down to it, the only thing that decides which game is better is the person playing it. While I've played both for quite a bit of time now, I can safely say that it's just a matter of taste. For me, I like the fast-paced and twitch-based gameplay of Call of Duty just a little more than Battlefield. Yeah, it's still, and it isn't too bright, but it's still fun. It reminds me of an arcade shooter, like House of the Dead. People still play Counter-Strike. All you do is... Counter-Strikes. Fuck, I'm good. Message here is, though, to each their own, and that's alright. You're not obligated as a gamer to like both or one or the other. If anything, as a gamer, you're obligated to let people play whatever the hell they like. The best example I could give is this. Call of Duty is checkers and Battlefield is chess. Checker Duty is faster paced and more accessible to people. Anybody can pick it up and play and have a good time. As well, your friends can and probably play it too. And Battle Chess is slower paced with an assortment of tools on the player's fingertips where you need skill and logic to kill your enemies. Only some can play it, but once you figure it out, you're hooked, and it can only get better from there. For those wanting a definite answer, technically Battlefield is the better game. It's bigger, better looking and sounding, smarter and grander in general. Call of Duty is outdated, the same, but fun. The great Hideo Kojima has done countless revisions of the Metal Gear Solid series, but it's still awesome. It's fan service, for which they charge you $60 a year. So if you don't have the money to buy both, don't buy both. Stick with what you love, and if you do, go ahead, get both games. No, get all the games. Don't let something like the question of game developer morality mess up your entertainment. It's yours to play. So let's try something out. In the comments below, write which series you prefer and one thing you wish you could improve upon. Because in the end, there's only one thing damning these two series. The fucking internet. Good night, everybody. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciated that you made it this far. But if you could do me just one favor and hit the like, share, and subscribicals button, that'd be awesome. As well, in the comments below, what do you think should face off next? Vin Diesel versus The Rock? This versus that? Star Trek versus Star Wars? I'll be reading, and once again, thanks and good night.